Hey guys, welcome back to Albert Gaming, and today we are going to do a Xiao showcase. Now, I have got my Xiao about as built as I possibly could in this time. I've got him sitting at 80 out of 90 with 18,750 max HP and 2,229 attack. So looking more at the details here, you can see that we are plus 6909 on our HP, plus 1230 on our attack, plus 87 on our defense. We are at 70% crit rate, 126 crit damage, so the crit damage is a little low, and overall I think both numbers are a little bit lower than they could be if we had better rolls on our artifacts. Energy recharge is at 145, and Animo damage bonus is at 61.6. So we have the Primordial Jade Winged Spear, his best in slot, which is at 90 out of 90, R1, and it is going to be staying at R1. I am not a whale and do not have the kind of money I would need to get it any higher. Well, I can't just justify it, I guess, that is. We're looking at the, I think, ideal set for Xiao, which is the Gladiator's Finale 2-piece with the Viridescent Venerer 2-piece. And I have got everything legendary or 5-star maxed at 20 out of 20, but our rolls could be better. We have crit damage with crit rate, Animo damage bonus with an attack percent, attack with, well, plus 2 attack and a defense percent, plus 10.1% crit rate. Probably the really decent roll on that one is the crit rate roll, but the rest of it I'm not super thrilled about. Attack with crit rate 7.8%, and crit damage plus attack percent. Both on that are pretty nice. So we could have better rolls, and I could probably squeeze a couple hundred more attack out of Xiao with better rolls. But, you know, it is what it is. This is the best he's going to get to for this video. I have him at Constellation 1, which is the only constellation I will be getting for him. Again, I cannot justify putting in for C6. I have, like, no following on YouTube, so I can't swing that kind of money for this sort of thing. We're looking at 3 total E moves, and that's fine by me just to get a little bit of energy recharge. Our talents are at 9, 5, and 9. I just got these up to 9 today. I do have a couple of crowns, but I ran Child and I got one Shadow of the Warrior, so frankly I don't have enough to level him any further, and as you can see my philosophies of prosperity are also pretty low. I need another 15 just to do one talent, so for now we're gonna live at 9, 9 and worry about leveling up his E, which we can still do a little bit of more next time we have a prosperity domain, as I am now out of any kind of resin that I could have possibly used today. So we're going to look at Valley of Remembrance, and before we go in, I'm going to talk a little bit about my team, because I think that my team is a little bit different than what I've seen most people running with Xiao. So I have got a triple Animo team going right now. I have Sucrose and I have Jean filling out the other 2 Animo slots. Now, why is that? Well, my playstyle of Xiao is to have his ult up as much as possible. I have seen people who say that there is an optimal rotation for him, which is the left click into the charge, into a jump and a plunge, but that's just not really my playstyle. So, I mean, I could probably squeeze out some more DPS from him from what I'm doing, but frankly, I just like to hit the ult and jump up and down, because that's what's fun for me and that's what I enjoy doing. So, my favorite healer in the game is Jean, and I think that she works the best with Xiao, because when you have her Q open, as long as you can manage to stay within that field, your HP is pretty solid. It's not really going to go anywhere unless you mess up something and get hit really hard by somebody that you're trying to attack. And then Sucrose is what I've understood is the best battery for Xiao in the game, so she provides the most energy. But Sucrose isn't really a Jean-capable healer. She's just providing us energy, so we can't, you know, we couldn't nix Jean if we wanted to. So we're running the 3 of them just to provide Xiao with as much ult uptime as possible while being healed as much as possible. And then we have Fischl, who is at C5, so hopefully I can get one more constellation on her, but C5 for off-field DPS. And we're probably not even going to touch her in this video because I just want to show off the 3 Animo combo. So basically right now we have no ult ready for Xiao, we have an ult ready for Sucrose, we have no ult ready for Jean. I'm not going to use Sucrose's ult on the first half of this, but I will on the second half. So we are just going to go to town on these 2 Minotaurs and get as much energy as possible, as fast as possible, so that we can use Xiao's ult. Why did I think Minotaurs? I was thinking about a completely different domain for a minute there, guys. Okay, so we're going to use Sucrose's ult pretty quick here.
Enhanced Animal Module 75.
That's what happens when you have the wrong domain in mind where you're actually going into. Alright, so we've got 2 ults up. We're going to use Jean's Q, go into Xiao's Q, and here is where we get to have some fun. So 20,000, 22,000 crits, 22,000. 23, 23.8, 24. Normally I try to focus, oh, 26, that's a nice crit right there. Normally I try to focus down either the agent or the assistant mage, but I kind of surprised myself when I end up in this domain because for some reason I just had a completely different domain in mind when I was starting this. So I didn't mention at the beginning that that would have been my strategy, but ideally what I would have done had I planned this out better would have been to come in here, use Sucrose's Q immediately, and then either make a beeline straight for the agent or the assistant mage, and then take out one of them and then focus down the other one with another Q. So you can see after that, we already have everybody's ults back up. We're not going to be able to get any resin here, so while I'm even going up there, I'm completely out. Let's take a look at a different domain, see what we can do. So here's the one that I was thinking I was going into for whatever reason. Taishan Mansion, which is where I was earlier today getting all of the talent level up materials that I could, because I needed literally every last one today to get my talents up to 9. Alright, so this is where we're going to have the strategy that I was talking about before. We're going to save Sucrose's Q for the 2 agents, and we're just going to use Jean and Xiao for the 2 Minotaurs.
I swear by my sword.
Lament!
Jean Q into Xiao Q.
Worthless!
Let's go to town. You can see right here, as long as I stay in the circle, my HP isn't really draining any, which is great.
Enhanced Animal Module 75. Stand clear.
Sucrose has sacrificial fragments, so sometimes we get an extra push out of her E, which is nice. Everybody's Qs are ready again.
Disappear! Worthless! Here!
Yeah, so that is kind of my strategy. Basically, I use, as I mentioned, the 3 of the Animo people to get as much energy as possible, as fast as possible. So the idea essentially is Jean's E whenever I can, Sucrose's E whenever I can, Xiao's E whenever I can, and then ideally, once I've gone through all 3 of them, I have everybody's Qs ready to go. So, again, the playstyle of this that I've really come to like is just throwing down Jean's Q, going ult with Xiao in the middle of that, and then just destroying everybody with these massive numbers. Like, I have Fischl for off-field damage, but you can see I didn't even use her, and these are 2 level 90 domains that I went through and relatively had no problem clearing. So, we're getting a lot of power out of this Xiao. Now, I don't know that I'm necessarily saying people should, like, I'm not saying this is a must-pull character for everybody, but what I think is the case here is that I have a above-average Xiao, which is why I'm getting the performance that I'm getting. You have to keep in mind that with my build right here, I happen to have his best in slot weapon at level 90, and I also happen to have, they're not the best rolls, but I happen to have passable rolls that do the job on every single artifact that I would have ideally needed. You know, I've got something for animo damage here, I have crit damage on his helm, I have attack on his sands, I have attack on his plume, and HP on the flower. Obviously, those last two are always going to be HP and attack. But, you know, if you guys are getting Xiao in your AR 35 or AR 40, you're probably not looking at artifacts like this. You know, I happen to be in a position where I got him after I was in the mid 50s of AR level. So, you know, I have a lot of, you know, I've already got a lot of 5-star artifacts. Sucrose is kitted out with 5 stars, and the only reason that she's not here is I wanted an EM hat, and I just don't happen to have a 5-star EM hat for her. So, you know, I happen to be in a pretty good position for kitting out most of these characters, and you guys might not necessarily be in that position yet. So with Xiao, I think that he can be good, but I think that you have to build him the right way, and I think that you also have to consider your team comp that you have in mind. For example, a lot of people have been talking about Zhongli being his best support. I have a Zhongli on my alt account, but I don't have a Zhongli on my main account, which is this one here. So I don't have Zhongli's shield that I can use. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing this triple animo team that I'm doing, is because I want to get as much health out of Xiao as I can. So I need Jean's healing, and I need Sucrose to keep that energy recharge going. You know, if you have a Zhongli, Xiao might be a great pull for you, but then you've got to consider the weapon. You know, do you have the Jade Pike, or do you have something like, you know, what are you looking at? Do you have a Crescent Pike? I mean, Crescent Pike's great for Zhongli, but it's a physical damage bonus, so when you're doing your Q, you're doing animo damage. That physical bonus damage isn't going to help you. You know, we all get Serpents or Dragonspine in Dragonspine, and that's also physical damage, so you have the same kind of issue. You know, like, looking at my stuff here, I've only got 2 5-star weapons, so if I didn't happen to have Primordial Jadewing Spear, I'd probably be using Skyward Spine, and I think that would be fine for him. But then our next best choice would be either the Favonius Lance or going into the Battle Pass and taking a look at Deathmatch, which is what I've heard a lot of people are using with him. So here we have a crit rate with a attack increase if there's 2 enemies or more nearby. So this, you know, this is probably your best bet if you don't have the Jadewing Spear, but then you have to pay money for the Battle Pass. So, you know, I'm doing this Xiao showcase so you guys can see what's possible with him and how I'm running him with what team, but I just don't know if I should advise people to try to get him or not. It's all so situational, and it depends on what your team is. Like, if you guys have a Jean, if you guys have a Sucrose, and if you particularly happen to have a Sucrose who's at least C1 with Sacrificial Fragments, you know, you're looking at a good deal of energy recharge there. And if you have a Zhongli, you're looking at arguably the best shield in the game that you can get for Xiao at this current time. So, you know, if you have a Zhongli, he could be a great person to pull for, but then you run into the problem of our current state of the game. You've got 2 days, 2 hours left on Xiao at the time I'm recording this. You have 8 days left on the weapon banner, and I normally would say that the weapon banner is a trap, because it is. But in this case, if you happen to have the resources to pull for it, considering the fact that we're getting a lot of primos thrown at us right now with the event that's going on, it's not necessarily a bad idea. But then you could also end up with the Jade Cutter. You know, I happen to have a Kaching too, so I kind of rolled on here and I ended up getting both weapons. I got the Jade Cutter first and I was discouraged by that, so I got the Jadewing Spear next. But you know, I happened to get Kaching's best in slot out of it, so I didn't completely end up at a loss. But, you know, if you can only pull 1 pity and you get the Jade Cutter, then you know, you're out the Jadewing Spear. And the same thing, too, is you're not guaranteed the Primordial Jade Cutter, or the Jade Cutter is going to lead into the Primordial Wig Spear next. You know, it's not like the normal banner where if you got, like, a Jean on this banner, you're guaranteed Xiao next. You could get 3 or 4 Jade Cutters in a row, you know. You could get a Wolf's Gravestone, so you have to keep that in mind. And I just happen to think that I had a Xiao that happened to come together because of a very good circumstance where I just happened to have everything that I needed for him, and was able to get it to where I needed to get it to. So yeah, that's my Xiao showcase, guys. I think right now I'd say he's actually my favorite character to play with the composition that I have, and my second most favorite team right now that I've been also working on. I'll probably try to do a video on this soon, is my Ganyu freeze comp. So maybe that'll be the next video on this channel, and if it is, hopefully you guys enjoy it. Anyway, thanks for listening, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.
Absurd.